next comic up, you're gonna absolutely love her. She is awesome. Please give a fantabulous, everything welcome to Lia Richardson.
What's up, guys? Oh, what up, friends? So my name's Lia, and I'm from Oregon. Thank you. What up? When I tell people that, they assume I'm from Portland, but what they don't know is that Portland is surrounded by a trailer park called the rest of Oregon. I'm from that part. And I'm from a really small town, and sometimes I get jealous of people from bigger cities, you know, because they can brag about certain things. Like the other day, my friend was like, I'm from New York, where we have a lot of great restaurants, so I know good sushi. And I was like, well, I'm from Forest Grove, where we have a lot of meth, so I know bad teeth. And didn't have the same effect. Yeah, man, I didn't realize how redneck my family was till later in life. My parents are from West Virginia, and I come from a long line of hillbillies. And the other day I was working at an event with this girl, and she was complaining to me about having small boobs. And I was like, well, when I was in the 6th grade, my Uncle Earl told me, any more than a mouthful's a waste. And she's like, oh my God, your uncle told you that? And I was like, oh my God, my uncle told me that. Like, that's... He also bought me a lot of skirts, you know, like the things you realize later in life. So I model on occasion. JCPenney, heard of it? No big deal. That mom's jeans ad was me. Yeah, I model sometimes, and one thing that bugs me about modeling is people speak about your body objectively. Like I worked with this photographer recently who I had worked with in the past, and she was like, okay, Lia, before we start, which eye is the saggy eye? And I was like, oh, didn't know I had a saggy eye, but I guess it's the one that's crying, so both. Yeah. I started modeling when I was a teenager, and then I stopped for a while, and now that I'm doing it again, I see it differently. Because when I was a teenager in modeling, I was like, people think I'm pretty. And now that I'm older, I'm like, I'm a cog in a toxic machine. And I got scouted for modeling when I was 14, which felt like a mistake, because at that time I was a real tomboy. So when I started modeling, I felt like a teenage boy playing The Sims. Like, I think I'll try being the blonde one. Let's give her boobs, Tyler! Like, that's what it felt like. It felt like a Freaky Friday situation where, like, Chris Farley and I switched bodies. And I'm Chris Farley and I can't get back. So on the outside, I'm like modeling and posing, but on the inside, I'm like, oh boy! I live in a van! Like, that's my true essence. Yeah, man. And at that age, when someone was like, hey, you want to stand over here, have your picture taken, and we'll pay you for it, being a teenager, I was like, yeah, that sounds better than college. You know what they say, education fades, but looks last for I wish I went to college. Yeah, I have a deep voice, which I think that throws a lot of people off. I think they expect me to sound more like, let's get margaritas at the bungalow. But instead I'm like, let's put a bunch of eggs in the microwave, watch them bust out of their shells. Like, that's more my vibe. Thanks. Having a deep voice does come in handy, though. Like, if one of my girlfriends is having trouble breaking up with a guy, I will call him up and be like, sup, dude, Crystal's with me now. Also, isn't having a dick super fun? Haha, peace. That only happened once, but pretty convincing. What else? I work a lot of weird. I have one of those weird Hollywood jobs where I shuck oysters at fancy parties. And one thing that sucks about it is I have to deal with a lot of like old, creepy, rich guys. Like the other day, this guy came up to me and he was like, "Did you know oysters are an aphrodisiac?" And I was like, "Did you know no amount of shellfish will make me want to fuck you?" All right, you guys have been so fun. I'm gonna go get margaritas. Bye.